Hello and welcome to Official Xbox 360 Magazine's OXM report. And this week we had the chance to visit Obsidian Entertainment in sunny LA and check out Fallout New Vegas, the hotly anticipated follow-up to epic post-apocalyptic RPG Fallout 3. So I'm here with J.Sawyer, who's a project director on Fallout New Vegas for Obsidian. So give me a little idea of what makes this different from Fallout 3.
Well, the setting is obviously the first thing that people are going to notice. It's set in Nevada, in the American Southwest, which is really where Fallout had its beginnings, which is in Southern California, the Southwest. So the look and the feel of it are very distinctly different from the Capital Wasteland. Everything from just the fact that you're walking around in the desert, to the blue skies, to the sunsets, to the Joshua trees and mesquite and stuff like that, plants that you'll only find in the desert. So the setting is a big part of it. With that comes also a lot of factions. So in Fallout 1 and 2, there's a lot of structural building in the societies in the Southwest. By the time Fallout 2 ended, the New California Republic was very large. So one of the big differences people are going to find is that your reputations with these power groups have a much bigger impact on the game. So reputation is a major new mechanic. It influences the sorts of rewards that you get from people, access that you get to certain areas. You can make one group happy and piss off another group. And instead of karma, which is still used and tracked, reputation is really your main currency for sort of getting things done within the wasteland.
One of the major changes seems to be that a lot of the choices you make will give you increased options in conversation. Can you tell me a little about how that works?
Yeah, we do have a higher emphasis on unlocking options in conversations. That can happen through your skills, and it can also happen through your reputations. With the skill emphasis, basically what we decided to do is say that while speech is still your main sort of tool for unlocking things within conversations, there are situations where other skills can unlock things, and it's usually some specialized vocational sort of information. So you can use science, or you can use sneak, or you can use explosives, or you can use medicine. It really all depends on what the context is, and those will pop up occasionally in Fallout 3, but we're trying to make sure that there's a much more robust sort of thorough implementation of those. Additionally, your reputation will come up often in conversations when you're dealing with power groups. So if you go to an area that's controlled by New California Republic, like Helios 1, which is an area that we showed, they control it, and if you have no reputation with them or a bad reputation, they're either going to tell you to leave or they're going to attack you on site once you come there. So there are consequences for all of your actions, and it really depends on, again, if you want to be friends with these people, then do things that are helpful to them. If you don't care, or if you want to be enemies with them, just screw with them. Start blowing them away, doing things that make them mad, and that's the consequence.
So one of the other things you guys have added is weapon modifications. Could you explain that system a little bit for us?
Basically, not all weapons, but a lot of weapons have the option to get mods. You always buy them in stores. So you go to the store, you see a weapon mod, you buy it, then all you have to do is just go into the inventory, highlight the weapon you want to modify, you select it, and then you just pick what mods you want to apply, and they're part of the weapon. A lot of people get very attached to a specific type of weapon, and so even though they might find a weapon that is like an upgraded version of it or whatever, having the mods allows them, if they really like the look or the feel of one weapon, they can just tweak with it and bump it up in power, and then they can keep using that weapon for longer in the game. Obviously they're paying a price for it because most of the mods cost a decent amount of money, but it does allow the person to have a longer investment with the weapon instead of just saying, well, this is useless, now I'm going to throw it over my shoulder.
So you guys touched on hardcore mode very briefly, which is going to make it extremely difficult to survive in the Mojave Wasteland. Can you tell us how that all works and what it means for the player?
Okay. The hardcore mode is a new optional feature for the game. It's distinctly separate from difficulty. You still have the normal difficulty settings that Fallout 3 had, but we wanted the hardcore mode to give people an increased bump in challenge that was more of a mechanical shift than just giving things more hit points. And it is a more challenging mode of playing the game. I'm sure some people will find it easy, just as some people find, Ninja Gaiden easy. But basically what it does is it makes a few key changes. One of them is that all healing happens over time. This is something that we found in experimentation makes the gameplay a lot more challenging and a lot more tactical. In Fallout 3, you can always go into your inventory and stim immediately and get the healing benefits. With hardcore mode turned on, you have to wait like 6 seconds for the healing effect to trickle in. So it's a race between damage per second against you versus healing per second moving in the other direction. It encourages people to fall back, take cover, chill out, not run at a bunch of guys with combat shotguns. So that's probably the biggest change and most noticeable change. We also add a dehydration meter for hardcore mode, and that is similar in some ways to the radiation meter in that when you're out in the desert, especially during the middle of the day, you're constantly accruing dehydration, and you get penalties to it, and you can eventually die from it. Food and water are much more important in hardcore mode because you use them to offset the dehydration that you have. So it's kind of a maintenance thing, and again, to reinforce the idea that this is the post-apocalyptic wasteland, you're out in the desert, and you can't just walk around forever and not eat or drink anything.
For the world-exclusive first details on Fallout New Vegas, pick up the latest copy of OXM on shop shelves now.